From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
The stage, there I am. Holy crap, I'm good at this. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to From the Ashes Radio on About Face Media. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. How's everybody doing? Well, let's turn that down. That's obnoxious as heck, isn't it? Grace Williams is watching. Grace, how do you keep calling me just as the show is about to start? You know where I am on Monday nights. What are you doing to me? You're lucky I like you. Dana Miller, hiya. How you doing? Thanks for being a part of the show. Man, sorry about the late start, folks. So our Craig Stackowitz, late start. Yes, we were having some technical difficulties. Late baby daddy. I know. He's on the way. He's upstairs doing stuff. You know how it goes. And apologize for our late start tonight. My soundboard pooped on itself. It was actually kind of funny for a hot second there. I don't want to say panic. I mean, I'm a professional. We got this, but you know how it goes. It's always technical difficulties. It is. So most live radio shows have what's called a producer. There's somebody that sits on the other side that you can't see that drives all this stuff. And we used to have that, but he moved to Florida because he got a real job. And yeah. So now the person least able-bodied to be doing this stuff, that's me, is the one that gets stuck doing this stuff. I shouldn't be doing this stuff. I know how to plug in stuff and press play, and that's where my talents stop. I know how to talk mad shit into a microphone, and that's where my talent levels stop. But yes, my hetero life mate is upstairs. He is as you've probably seen on the interwebs, we have a brand new hire from the Human Resources Department. Remington Rodenbaugh made her appearance just recently. And yeah, she's upstairs having a fit with the Human Resources Department. Lucky for you, we show up for the mad shit talking. I agree completely. Thank you to our loyal listeners for keeping us on the air. Without you, I mean, really, it'd just be some jackass talking into a fucking box with electricity stuck in it. So there's really no reason for me to be here otherwise, other than to, self-masturbation and all that shit. But yeah, but that's okay. We'll get it done in one way or another. So it is that time of the show. Let me go to the text messages. You guys keep us highly entertained. Sorry, we got so many radio show. I just got my notification about it. I'm so sorry. I love you. Yeah, I love you too, Grace. This comes from Task and Purpose. So for those that don't know, Combat Carl is, oh, hey, bud, how are you? Been busy? Been up to anything? The listening audience is like, hey, where is everybody?
All right, we can start now.
Yeah,
wait,
it's official. The show is live. What? What's the matter?
Me or the headphones are no sound.
So knob number two is you. Turn it up. You got sound now?
I do. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Sound sexy as hell.
Okay, we're good.
You sound amazing. I mean, voices of angels and shit.
It was turned down too much.
Sorry. I tested it before we started. I mean, I tested this thing too when we saw how that worked out.
Oh, I swear 1 decade we'll have this figured out.
Well, that's how I started the show. Is most radio shows have a producer. We don't have that. We used to have that. He went and got a job. So if you know anybody that wants to be a radio producer, we'd love to have you.
We pay really good.
Yeah, we do. We pay very well. If you've ever had an Arnold Palmer, some of the best in the world are right here at this studio. So yeah, I was just about to start with Combat Carl. So for those that don't know, everyone in the military, if you've ever served, you have Carl. You have in your unit, you have that Carl. It's that person that just can't get right. And we are equal opportunity here.
So there's
Carl and there's Carla.
There's also privates,
Yes.
officer, there's fire. We're not.
What are in free
We won't
eggs?
Discriminate. We'll go after everybody.
I have no idea what Dana Miller is talking about in free eggs.
I don't
One
either.
shot got it done against looking smoked, dude.
Look good. What are you talking about?
Shout out to Harrison and Marshall for a happy birthday. Yes, my two favorite nephews. Happy birthday, you little brats. Knocking over motorcycles and shit. You little punk brats. They're like, yeah. I told my two nephews, hey, stay away from the motorcycle. It's expensive and it's heavy. Okay, Uncle Rob, no problem. Those two little punks walk out in the driveway. One of them comes running in. We got a motorcycle down. Do we? How do we have a motorcycle down? We go out. Sure enough, my motorcycle's sitting on its side. You little punks.
When is this?
Oh, this was probably 3-4 years ago.
Oh,
I'm like,
the
you're lucky I
little
like
ones
you
were just
too.
talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you're lucky
thought
I like you
about
too.
like yours.
What? Yeah, the Honda, the one I love. Yeah, the red one. Yeah, those two little brats knocked it over a couple years ago.
Those two little brats are doing God's work. God's work. They're like Honda. Boom.
Yes,
Harley.
exactly.
Cool.
That is literally what they did. They were just standing there like,
Yeah.
hey, want to see how fast the old guy can run?
Not very.
And they basically put a boot to it. Yeah, you're exactly right.
I'm impressed. So back to our private Carl. Actually,
Carl.
it is
Carla.
Airwoman Carla.
Can you even call her Airwoman? I think she's just like some punk bitch, basically.
You know what's really funny is
Yep.
you guys have heard me before
Huh?
make fun of the Air National Guard.
What?
What?
Name one
About-
time you ever have.
Like, name one reason to have them. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I do have a reason. We need an Airwoman Carla. If it wasn't for the Air National Guard, we wouldn't have this.
Well, I mean, who else is gonna? No, I got nothing. No, I can't think of it. Clearly, you got it. I'm gonna let you read.
I have
this
it
one.
pulled up too.
Go ahead, do your thing, man. I feel like this was made
I
for you.
read this like 3 times, and I got energized.
You
Air
did.
National Guard Lieutenant Colonel Lightbird. Okay, Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Mitchell is commander of the 126th Weather Flight, a Wisconsin Air National Guard unit. She is also a senator.
Wait.
She is also a Democrat.
Oh, well, there it is.
Well,
It all makes
you
sense.
know, I could make more fun of that than I can the Air National
Joe
Guard.
Ross,
but-
F-16s.
So this Air National Lieutenant Colonel, also Minnesota State Senator, was charged with burglary after being arrested at her stepmother's home in Monday, court records show. So I could read all this because it is that great to read. I encourage you to Google it, but I'll give you some highlights. She dressed up like Harry and Marv.
What?
Home Alone. She dressed up like Harry and Marv. She had the beanie on.
Dude, look
all
at
black
Grace's
clothes.
comment.
She had
People need to be bullied. That's why the Air National Guard exists. She is not adopted.
we need to have her on more often. So she dresses up like old Harry and Marv, beanie. She's got a flashlight with a black sock over it, so it minimizes this. Did you read all of it? So she has her sock over her flashlight to minimize her light
Signature.
signature. Thank you. She breaks into her stepmother's house, and she steals some stuff, like a laptop,
Okay.
her father's ashes, lots of things. Or there's lots of talk about
This
what
is
her
a sitting
intention was.
senator, an Air Force officer. No, not
Yes.
even Air Force. An Air National
And she said it was a
Guard officer.
misunderstanding between a family member who has Alzheimer's. Okay, that could be real, right?
Okay.
That could be real.
Okay.
Why did you go to your Alzheimer stepmother's house at 4:30 in the morning?
Dressed
like
the guys
Harry and Marv.
It took me a second to see where you were going with the Harry and Marv thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, she dressed for it. Like I'm all about doing the wrong thing sometimes.
Clearly,
But-
she didn't have camouflage that you could put on because they don't have that thing.
They don't have
National
camouflage.
Guard. Oh, that's awesome, dude. A senator, a commissioned officer,
Yes.
and she got caught breaking and entering. Dude,
Yeah. And so she's leaving with like a backpack full, like multiple
of
laptops.
ashes, laptops.
Yes. And she's like, that's my laptop. That's not hers. And they're like, okay. And they opened it up and it was like the lady's name. So mind you, folks,
If found
is
returned to
a
an old lady with Alzheimer's.
felony. She got charged with first-degree felony burglary. That's not a little, Well, I mean, it might be for her. She's a Democrat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's a Democrat, so which means she's not going to jail. She's not going to. There will be no repercussions. So I mean, yeah. Only Republicans go to jail and get in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, and will she resign? Nah, probably not. I mean, what's gonna?
Dishonorably discharge.
No way.
Conduct unbecoming of an officer.
Not gonna happen.
I didn't say it was.
Not gonna
but that's
happen.
that is like bare minimum.
Not gonna happen.
You're
Dana
booted
Miller.
out.
Whoa.
You're fired.
Whoa. Oh, I got the Democrats in the office
Oh.
in the audience.
Well, if you're going to stand up for your own kind, here's the time. Go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the defense on this one. I mean, yeah, I'd really like to hear. This is a sitting senator. I mean, what is that from? Where is she? I'd like to know where she's a senator. It's got to be.
It's I just read it a minute ago.
Is it got to be like Illinois or some shit like that?
It's Minnesota.
But yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
Oh man, a couple of our good friends are in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nicholas Ron.
Oh well, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, yeah, but he doesn't. He's not a Minnesotan though. I mean,
He is.
He's cool.
I think I've only known two people from Minnesota, Nick being one of them, and then one other, and I love both of them. They're great.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody else.
And one senator. I'm not defending her. I'm simply saying not all Democrats are fucking idiots.
Well, Can I get one more? We should stop. This is not a political show.
Yeah, we don't do
It's
politics.
just
on
really
this show.
easy to make fun of people like the International Guard
Come
and
on.
liberals.
I mean, how do you defend that? You're a sitting senator and you like broke into somebody's house and then you got caught. I mean, if you're in the dude, if it's
This is, what's crazy is I was going to have also district attorney Carla. Did you know about this one?
no, but I want to now.
I'm going to give you guys a new one.
A district attorney.
This I had a Carla for tonight. You just trumped mine. So this district attorney in, guess where?
Hold on.
You get two choices. It's one of the two places.
California or New York?
Okay, so it's on the east one.
New York.
She is not an assistant DA. She is the DA.
Okay. The da. Okay.
Going over 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. Officer goes to pull her over. She refuses to. She pulls into her.
Hey, wait, what do you mean refuses to?
She just doesn't. So he follows her all the way to her home. She pulls into her garage, calls the chief of police, and it's all on body cam.
That's
it is.
awesome.
Do you know who I am? I'm the district attorney. You don't pull me over.
Taser, taser, taser.
No. She's also a Democrat.
Well, I
see I'm
among small-minded people here. Dana, you have listened to this show often enough that you know that is completely accurate.
I was just gonna say thanks.
Come on now. Of course that's true. Brett
Oh,
Sumner is watching.
That's good.
That's awesome, dude. Can you imagine? Can you imagine getting pulled over by like the cops and just pulling into the house and being like, yeah,
She like gets out of the car and like goes inside and he's like, ma'am,
Do you know who I
please
am?
not go inside? Like,
I'm
"Ma'am."
one shot.
Like
Do you
this-
not know who I
felt
am?
So bad for this officer. It was such a bad position. You could tell too. He's like, ma'am, please, will you please not do this? This is a traffic stop and you can't go inside, ma'am. It's really comical. I'm going to send it to you.
Taser,
Folks.
taser, taser.
New York district attorney refuses to get pulled over.
So
Google it, watch it. It's craziness.
So
The
there is someone
entitlement of people.
I
It blows me
care
away.
deeply about is learning how to be a police officer right now. And every day they come home and I say, did you get to tase a hippie today? No. Well, then the day's been a waste, hasn't it?
I can't wait till the day he gets tased.
Did you get tased while you're in the military or pepper sprayed or anything?
We actually bought my sniper platoon one time, bought a taser. And we decided
that's the most infantry thing I've ever heard. You bought one at a pawn shop and then like went around the room. Yeah,
we got a good one. It wasn't pawn shop. We went around the room for a minute and then we're like, hey, this is so much more efficient than smoking soldiers. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, you don't have to do push-ups. You have to take a taser to the armpit.
Private Rodenbaugh, did you shave before PT this morning?
Armpit?
No, sorry, I didn't. That is the most infantry thing I've ever heard right there.
Like 2 days. Yeah, we tased the shit out of each other.
I'm sorry, there's probably I'm sleeping upstairs and I'm like cackling like a hound. I apologize. That's all.
You do echo.
That's outstanding. That is the most infantry thing I've ever heard. Did you were you a little late to formation?
All the privates are like, we haven't been smoked in a week, but God, I got this bruise.
Damn, it hurts. All right, we have got to bring our guest on. We are way Carrie, how the heck are you, man?
Great. How about you guys?
I'm doing very well. My first question to you is, why would you agree to this?
I'll do anything to get recruitment for our veteran art therapy show.
I like it.
Exactly. Carrie, welcome to From the Ashes on About Face Media. Please disregard anything you heard over the last 15 minutes.
Oh, I'm crying laughing. It's great.
Well, thank you. Welcome to the show. We are very, very proud to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yourself are not a veteran, correct?
That's correct.
Well, then that means even more to me for what you are doing for the veteran community. Why do you do what you are doing for the veteran community if you are not part of the community yourself? Why are you putting yourself out there like that?
Well, actually, I worked for TRIA for a little bit, the Retired Enlisted Association, which is a veteran service organization that's actually here in Colorado. And that was where I got my first taste of actually meeting and working with the military folks. And I have so much respect. That's where it began and that's where it grew. And then after I worked for TRIA, I went to work for the town of Castle Rock. And that's where I was able to align with the Castle Rock Artist Alliance. And they asked me to teach last year's class. And I said, well, I'm not sure what art therapy means, but I can teach a painting class. And they said, that works. And that's kind of how I got into it. And then we decided, Nick Lucy, who was one of our founders and actually helped start the program, he moved to North Carolina. So we had to kind of revamp, and we've been working real hard this year to get some new things going. And we are so thankful that you guys are helping us recruit.
Well, slow the roll on that one, I assure you. By the end of this radio show, you might be like, never again. Well, let's start at the beginning. So first of all, town of Castle Rock, I mean, one of my favorite places on the planet. I love the town of Castle Rock. So tell us about the Castle Rock Artist Alliance. What is that? What are we even talking about here?
Absolutely. So about 4 years ago, a group of us artists met together at Saints and Sinners, and we formed the Castle Rock Artist Co-op at the time. And that was the brainchild of Nick Lucy, who was a former Marine. But he also worked with me for the town of Castle Rock. I was a graphic designer, and so was Nick. And so we got real tight, and we started this alliance basically to have a place for artists to show artwork. So we do a lot of pop-ups like at Saints and Sinners. But the other leg of what we do was right away, was the veteran art therapy. And so that first year we had classes right away. And it's really one of the very foundational pieces of what we do. It's kind of funny. The way we raise money for our classes are grants primarily, and we have no problems getting those. And so the leg of the Castle Rock Artist Alliance, that is the veteran art therapy, we're flush with cash. and the Castle Rock Artists Alliance is kind of creeping by there. So, but we can't help them out. But yeah, so folks are very supportive of veterans, and it's just been excellent. It's been every door just keeps opening, and it's a joy for me to do.
This whole radio show is based around nonprofits aimed at things and opportunities for the veteran community. And it's all kinds of things it can be anything from fly fishing to journaling to painting to writing books to whatever it is that you want. And you are by far the very first we've ever had come on here and be like, yeah, we got money. We don't know what to do with it all. Come on out here and do some stuff.
Right.
We don't know what to do with it all. That's awesome. That makes me happy. So we are GWAT babies here in this studio. And
yep.
GWAT babies.
Berserker boards. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We love Berserker boards. We got one right here.
Yes.
What a gangster. We love us. Berserker
that is such an amazing program, and I got to see that show and loved it and fell in love with that whole thing he's got going on.
Tim's amazing. And that interview, I did not go the way I was expecting it to. We expected him to come up here and talk about his art, and he ended up talking about like helping veterans through PTSD and his journey, and it was amazing. So really, amazing. Really good stuff. But the GWAT babies are taking over the art world. The Dead Reckoning Society with writing and journaling and VFW Post One. You and I talked a little bit before the show about VFW Post One. Talk about redefining what is happening in the world and in the VFW world. VFW Post One they get it. They rip the bar out of the place. There's no alcohol. It's a dry place, and it's an art gallery now.
You know, you're the first one that told me about that. And when I worked at TRIA, and it was Gulf War for the most part. And those vets didn't really want to go hang out in bars and drink and talk about the stories. They wanted to be with their families. A lot of them were young. And so it was always a struggle because we thought, how are we ever going to get this model switched around? And VFW1 just went boom,
Well, GWAT is redefined. In just a little while, we're going to have Coach JP come on. He's our monthly segment. And Coach JP, he's redefining what the GWAT baby is, because they don't want to sit in bars anymore and tell war stories. It's time to redefine what our era is. And because of people like you doing what you are doing, allowing us to paint and to do things like that, and just express yourselves in different ways. It's incredibly powerful what you're doing. How many of these have you done so far?
Would you believe that the only one I have done is the last one I did, which was last summer, but it was addicting and I was hooked on it. And so, because we are growing this program, we've got 2 that are going to be live this summer. We've got our first one starting on May 11th, which is a Saturday. And we've got 6 more spots to fill, and we really would love to have a full class there.
Joe Allen, if you are listening to this, Joe, I know you are a regular listener. I know you're listening, Joe. Don't look at me like that. Joe, this is for you, dude. Go paint some stuff. This is not like a paint and wine kind of thing. This is a get it out, throw your feelings up on some paint. So let's say Joe is listening right now. He is, and he wants to participate. Carrie, how can Joe get involved?
So the easiest way is to go and fill out the form up on our website. So our website is www.castlerockartistalliance.com. And then if you put a / and then VFRAT, and that is VFRAT, and that stands for Veteran and First Responders Art Therapy. And there's a form that's right there, and you can fill that out, and boom, you're in. It's just like that.
What is it? What do I have to bring? What is it going to cost me? How much?
It's free. That's the gorgeous thing. All these grants that we get, it's totally free for any veteran, and you just show up basically. And you don't need to be an artist. Beginners are welcome. what we're doing there is primarily just all getting together and having a painting session. So I certainly have an art session that I lead, and you're welcome to do whatever you want to do, or you can, it's pretty wide open. And what we're finding, it's just so much fun. I mean, it's amazing fun. We all stand around, and conversation, as you know, with military people is just, you never know what it's going to be, but it's always interesting.
Yes, I do know.
And, it's just the best camaraderie, and these folks just connect up, and it's just so heartening to see. And then, we stay in touch just because of the bonds that we've made there. So, but I'm training 6 new teachers, because we're looking to do 4 classes a year, and we're going to need some other folks besides me to teach. So we're going to get everybody loaded up.
Wow. What kind of stuff are we talking about? What kind of stuff are you painting? I mean, is this like selfies? I mean, what are we talking about?
Well, this class, we're going to kind of open it up a bit. The last class that we did, one of the hard problems that we unfortunately have is finding space to do this. And while we've got money and we've got the people, we just don't have the space. So last year, we scrambled till the last minute and finally got in at Douglas County High School, but it was so late that we only were able to do 3 classes. Typically it's 4. So coming in late, I came in with a sketch already ready for them to get going. And it was from the Ridgeline Trail, Ridgeline Open Space. And so we've all kind of painted that together, but it was just a rough sketch. And so all of the veteran artists could tackle that however they wanted to. It could become abstract, it could be realism, it could be whatever. And so that's how we did it last time. This time, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to open it up. We're going to actually do we've got that extra class. So we're going to learn a little bit about how to sketch. We're going to do a little bit of color talking, and then pretty much let everybody tear into it. We're going to lead with some sketches that we'll all do on tracing paper and just kind of work our own mojo and see what's happening, and then get it up on a canvas and get to painting. So it's fun.
Speaking of mojo, my hetero life mate here wanted me to ask before he had to run upstairs. You could get security breaches here at the super secret location sometimes. If you're looking for nude models, he would really like to volunteer. He's very adamant he's not taking off the cowboy boots or the cowboy hat.
That's perfect.
They're all his.
That's perfect. Yes, sign him up and have him come on down. That's it.
Okay, he will be there. He will absolutely be there.
Excellent.
Yes.
That would be Christ Episcopal Church. That'll be great.
I love what we just set up right there. This is going to happen.
Well, if that doesn't get folks there, I really don't know what will.
Me neither. I know. I feel you. So what happens so let's say that, he shows up and, everybody paints him and whatnot and all of his glory and whatnot. What happens to these paintings after all this is done?
I'm so glad
paintings, drawings, whatever.
Right. So then after that, we always do a gallery, an open artist reception at a gallery. Before we had Nick Lucy's gallery there in Castle Rock, and he and Tiff have moved off to the Carolinas. So we don't have that option anymore. And so thank you, Rob. I am trying to connect with VFW Post 1, which is just actually about a quarter mile from my house, and see if we can't get in on some of that as a place that we could have our veterans show their work. And what I really liked about that was it's also a conduit to the Veteran Art Show at the VA hospital as well. So,
yes, it is. Yes,
and
it is.
so
Have you ever walked those halls?
No, it's funny. I've been popping. I live so close. I've been popping down there, but I've popped at the wrong times and it hasn't been open. So I finally left a phone call for Jesse and said, and so probably Friday would be a good time to go, and I will pop on down there.
Well, 2 things. I'll connect you with Jesse after all this is done. I'll connect you with Jesse on the Book of Faces or something. Great. Yeah, he's a great guy. But greater than that, at some point in the very near future, I'll connect you and we'll meet up down at the Denver VA, and we'll meet up for coffee and we'll walk the halls and check out some of the art that's down there. Some of the art is incredibly powerful, and knowing that it's all created by veterans, it's pretty awesome. And then after it's been hung there for a little while, it goes over to the Ronald McDonald House, which
Oh
is right
my.
behind the VA, and it stays
That
there
is
permanently at the Ronald McDonald House.
that is awesome. That is just so amazing.
I know.
Amazing.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah. It
Have
is
you
amazing.
ever heard of Invader Girl?
No. Do tell.
Oh, you got to check out Invader Girl. Invader Girl, I don't know if you're on the gram, we could hang some in the
Yep,
academy, Joe Roz. Absolutely, we could. Yeah, Roz, you some of the stuff is pretty badass. If you're on the gram, check
Yep.
out Invader Girl. She is just like you. She is creating the art of GWAT, and
Yeah.
her art it's powerful.
Ah.
I got Seth one called Fighting the Demons.
Ah.
It's hung around here somewhere. But yeah, for Christmas this
Awesome.
year. But her stuff is super powerful.
Thank you for passing that along.
Yes. Carrie, I can't thank you enough for what you are
you.
doing for my community, our community, and for our generation. Usually my hetero life mate here gives you the outro because I want to be as respectful of your time as possible. I owe you a few things. When the show is over, I'm going to connect you with Jesse, and at some point you and I are going to meet and we're going to connect and we're going to go walk the halls of the Denver VA.
Love it.
Yes,
Thank
it's good
you
stuff.
so much.
Really good stuff. I love what you're
You
doing.
are awesome. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much.
You're the one doing it. I'm just the guy talking into an electric stick here. It's not a big deal. You're the one doing the good stuff. Carrie, I want to be as respectful as your time. Thank you for taking time away from your family on a Monday evening to be a part of From the Ashes on About Face Media. We sincerely appreciate what you're doing for the veteran community. We may have glossed over something. I may have missed a question. I may have missed a topic that you wanted to talk about. I may have skipped over something. I may have talked too fast. I may have glossed over a topic. The time is yours. Take the next 2 minutes. This is your time to shine. Talk about anything you want. It doesn't have to be about art. The veteran world is listening. The platform is yours. Talk about anything you want and make sure to give all of your handles and all of your upcoming events. The next 2 minutes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rob. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to just kind of talk about one of the things that it seems to be a bit of a stumbling block is the word therapy in the art therapy class. And I just wanted to talk a minute about that. The therapy that we offer is really more connection to other veterans with similar stories and experiences. And we found that decreases the feeling of isolation that leads to depression. Whenever you're connected, it's just a lot easier to not get depressed. So that's kind of the therapy part of what we're doing. So we're not going to sit around and really, pry into your feelings. It's just whatever folks care to share. So I wanted to make sure that folks were comfortable with that. And then just to let you know that the antithesis of depression is expression. And that's kind of what we are kind of given a wide open opportunity, because a lot of the healing happens in being able to express yourselves in ways that you aren't able to. So thank you for the opportunity.
No, ma'am. Opportunity? What you're doing is what's important. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Carrie Martin with the Castle Rock Artist Alliance. She is doing veterans art therapy. If you are interested in participating with this, it is not just veterans. It is also first responders. Paul Joseph, if you are listening to this right now, if you are a police officer, firefighter, paramedic, if you are a dispatcher, if you are a veteran and you are looking to find a new way as an outlet. You're looking to get a little bit of this out of you. This is an excellent way to do this. You don't have to be a GWAT baby. If you're a Vietnam veteran, if you're listening to this,
Absolutely.
if you're hearing the sound of my voice, this is an excellent way for you to kind of let a little bit of stuff out. It's extremely powerful. Take the time. Just try something new. All the bullshit you're doing now doesn't work anyway. Try something you haven't tried before. Get in touch with Carrie Martin and the Castle Rock Artist Alliance and take it for a test drive. See if it works for you. Carrie, thank you so much for being a part of From the Ashes on About Face Media. We'll talk more.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you. Have a great
Appreciate
rest of
it.
your evening.
You too. Good night.
Bye. Good night. Oh, the new hire. What's up, man? You missed a good one. You need a hand?
No, I'm good.
How is she
I've
doing?
done this before.
Yeah, you clearly have.
Outstanding.
You missed a really good one. Carrie did.
I
Carrie
heard
did
most
good.
of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hey, you need to be at the Episcopal Church in Castle Rock on May 11th.
I heard.
You're modeling.
Mm-hmm. Castle Rock one, right?
you got a job, man. So she looks good.
I know. Folks, usually if you heard there was going to be a Remington on the air, you would assume with it being us, it would be something different, but this is Remington.
Welcome to the team.
Yep.
Man.
Assistant executive director.
Assistant executive. We have a large staff, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Don't call her large.
No, we have a large staff, including our executive producer, the upstairs, our sound techs. Yes. The security staff numerically, not size-wise. Matter of fact, that's a pretty small staff.
Very small.
Congratulations, man. I'm very proud for you and your family.
We're happy.
You should be. You very much should be.
Yep.
Looking good. I mean, that plus our 6 new attack cats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Protection felines, I think is their official term.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's heavy staff.
You know what? We forgot to even say that. It was during the show last week.
Yes, I know.
That there were babies born here. We started the show. Carol was pregnant. We ended the show.
She wasn't.
She was no longer pregnant.
And there were 6 more cats in the office.
Yeah.
Kind of bananas. So
now there's a midget.
Yeah. Look at her.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big bow.
It's like as big as her head.
I know.
It's kind of cute, right?
It is. I heard her having an argument upstairs with HR. What was going on up there?
They weren't doing her burrito correctly. We're upset about it.
All right. Well, I see that Coach JP is in the waiting room. Do you mind if I bring him in?
No, go ahead. I'm going to go in and out.
All right, cool. Yeah, you do your thing. Coach, how the heck are you, man?
What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
You look and sound amazing, Coach. How you been?
Thank you. You know, I saw that you guys had a nice setup the first time I came on, so I thought I'd get myself a little couch here. It's a little smaller, but it's comfy.
It looks good, man. It looks great. I love the Vet Rise podcast. I love what you're doing with it, man. It's good stuff.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And
we
appreciate that little bundle of joy, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I will.
I love what you're doing with the Vet Rise podcast, and I love what you've been doing. So I don't know if you know, but we have a mutual friend, a friend of mine. His name is Brady. I go out and I teach yoga in Ventura, California once in a while for Ventura for veterans, and you have been going back and forth with him. So yeah, mutual friends in low places. So doing good stuff. He's a huge fan of yours, and I'm a huge fan of his. So
thank you. That's great to hear. I love to hear that the podcast and the platform has reached. So that's wonderful.
So for our listeners that are not quite yet familiar with what it is that you do, go ahead and pimp yourself a little bit before you start getting into rants and raves.
All righty. So my name is Juan Perez, JP, the Veteran Coach. I have social media platforms at JP, the Veteran Coach. And if I had to give myself a one-word sentence, I would say that I am reinvigorating veteran culture and changing the perspective of how we look at veteran transition as we get out of the military, whether it's been 5 years or 10 years. I also have a podcast called the Vet Rise Podcast, which Rob mentioned already.
But yeah, and if you haven't listened to it, folks, you're missing out. You're absolutely missing out. Most importantly, if you have not found him, Coach JP, on like TikTok and Instagram and all that, that's where the short, strong, let's start your day with messages are, and that's really good stuff. But yes, the Vet Rise podcast is where the quality is. You're getting it, some good stuff. So Coach, the reason you're a whole part of this whole thing is, look, our audience needs to hear your message. They need your strong message. You're bringing a different message to the veteran community, and I love the message that you're bringing. So what are we talking about tonight?
Well, thank you for that. Today, we're going to be talking about the workhorse mentality is the reason you're not getting promoted at work. So in the military, we want to feel useful. We want to think that we can either provide intelligence or we can be that strong mule, the backbone of getting the mission done. Maybe we can carry a lot of weight. Maybe we're used to volunteering for everything, and we get a lot of purpose that way in the military. However, those service members are not the ones that get put in for merit boards. And I think we forget that. So we get out of the military and we take a lot of the skills that the military gave us and we don't put them into categories, meaning that this doesn't serve me anymore. this does. I need to translate this. How can I use this? And we take a lot of what we have and we just try and kind of force it onto whatever we're doing now, right? So let's just say, for example, this service member gets out, goes into corporate America, or maybe they are in college. Unfortunately, what I see happening, which happened to me, I speak from personal experience, is that we try and force our old habits, our old systems, our old belief systems, if you will, onto the current culture that we are now a part of. But again, we haven't been a part of this culture. We need to honestly learn how to not just thrive, or not just survive, but thrive in this culture, right? So it comes down to the fact that I believe a lot of veterans don't want to play the politics of the office. They don't want to, you know, rub elbows with the right people. They don't want to politic. They don't want to kind of lower their standards, if you will. And they think that this is the way to live life. And they would be correct if they were still in the military, but they're not. So we have to transition the mindset and realize that when you go into a job, wherever it is, whatever it is, politicking can translate to you getting put on a merit board by learning how to make the proper connections with the proper staff NCOs, proper NCOs, being the one that can be the go-to, but not necessarily the one that always volunteers for all the work. Because veterans end up in these positions and they are working longer hours. They're volunteering for everything. But then they wonder why they're not getting promoted, why they're not being distinguished, why other people who seem to go out and grab a drink with the boss or are going to play golf or tennis or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, why they're the ones that are getting promoted. And the reason is because veterans have this stigma in their mind that they are not going to play the politics. They're not going to play the game, that the way that they are going to prove their worth is by working harder than everybody else. Now, I believe that we have to change that, and we have to take this mentality that we have and do a hard reset and understand that we do have to work smarter, not harder, because we already have all the skills. We have the capabilities. We know how to be creative. We know how to be disciplined. We know how to start conversations if we really want to. But when we don't do it on purpose, when we don't actually strive for changing that mentality, we get stuck in the same role of being the go-to guy, the one that always volunteers, the one that's willing to do duty on the weekends because nobody else is, the one that people always go to when they want something done. And then that veteran feels like they're worth something. They get value from that. But then they get angry, they get jaded, they get salty when they get passed up for promotions, when they don't get looked at for a position that they want because they didn't speak up, because they felt in their minds, well, if they want me for it, they will come to me because I'm working my butt off, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We have to understand that the new culture we are a part of, it's different rules, different ways of playing the game. And it doesn't have to be that you lower your standards. It just means that you are going to learn how to camouflage the way you did in the military, how to adapt the way you did in the military, how to be creative the way that you did in the military to actually succeed in this new culture that you're a part of. Because if you don't play the game, if you will, if you don't come into the new office and learn how to politic and learn how to, rub elbows with the right people and make the right connections, you're going to stay stuck where you're at. And I don't want veterans to stay stuck where they're at, because in the long run, what typically happens? Veteran feels salty. They feel bitter. They feel like they're at this dead end job. They don't want to quit because they don't have that quit attitude, because they feel like they have to just stay wherever they're at and just suck it up because they have to embrace the suck. And then before you know it, they are drinking themselves away, angry, bitter, in the middle of a divorce with 2 kids, going back and forth about finances because they can't get theirs in order because they never learned how to. I think that is a problem with the veteran culture, and I think it needs to change. I think we need to look at it a little bit differently and realize that if we want to succeed, we need to learn how to not blend in, but stand out for the right reasons and not over volunteer for everything. Learn how to make connections and honestly, learn how to grease the wheels a little bit better than we normally do. It's not lowering our standards. It's just changing the way that we go about doing it. I hope that made sense.
Coach, you have no idea. Dude, you are singing some gospel right now. One of my first jobs when I got out of the Army was working for a big bank. And thank God I had an excellent mentor. And Bradley, I'll never be able to thank you enough. We went to a workshop in Texas. We were at this training all day, training gets all done, and there's like I think they called it a mixer afterwards at the end of the thing. And you're going to like meet all the bosses, have a couple of drinks, some cucumber sandwiches and some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And get all done. And I'm like, hey man, I'm going to head up to the room, park myself in front of the laptop, and I'm going to get the work done. And he's like, you're not. You're going to come with me and you're going to rub some elbows. And I'm like, man, it's not my game. I'm going to get the work done. I'm the new guy. I'm going to get the work done, get in front of the laptop, do my jam, and, let me know how it goes. And he's like, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. And he's like, come on with me. And like, so, just like you're talking about, rub the elbows, gripped and grinned, blah, 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 blah. Well, sure enough, and that was in like August, sure enough, in like December, homeboy here needed a favor. And I was able to make a phone call and be like, hey, can you help me out with this? And if I had not gone and gripped and grinned, they wouldn't know who I was. Because if I had just gone and parked myself in front of the laptop, coach, you are singing some gospel, and people don't even realize what they're missing there if it not for you. So well done.
I love how you like nailed it with the perfect example. Like nothing better than that. Cause I'm sure in your mind, you were like, well, listen, I'm going to prove myself by working hard and getting this done. Right. But like, no, like, your mentor thankfully told you like, no, this is the better way to do it, because you're actually like, it's not about faking the funk. In my opinion, it's about showcasing your skills in a different way. Like, let people get to know you a little bit better, participate, be there, be present, show up. You don't have to freaking go and work your ass off in order to get recognized. You get recognized, but actually showcasing who you are. Right. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
It can be both. They know you're when your name is going to be on the bottom of that piece of paper and that you did the work. Right. And at the same time, hey, you bumped into him at an event and were able to grip and grin and make conversation. And hey, remember that guy that we would talk to in Texas that was from the Army? We should probably talk to him about this. And yeah, it becomes a thing. So yeah, dude, you're singing gospel here right now. And yeah, a lot of us, I would not have ever put that together. I would, if not for that excellent mentor grabbed me by the back of my ear and saying, no, man, you're coming with me and you're going to eat a freaking cucumber sandwich and you're going to enjoy it. And yeah, and I would have never known, man. It would have never clicked to me. And so, yeah, and it paid off dividends months down the road, not at the time. So yeah, so it was amazing. So yeah, I love it. Coach JP, you are going to be a very regular segment on the show. We're going to have you on at the end of the month, every month. What other kind of things can we be looking for or looking forward to from you? What other things should we be looking for or paying attention to over the next month before we have you on and pretty soon here next month for the month of May?
Some of the things that I've been really throwing around in my head a lot lately is, well, one of them is definitely the veteran ego, right? And dealing with that. But one of the things
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that has interestingly been coming up for me a lot is the fact that we experience loss and grief when we leave the military, but we don't really name it that because we don't really give ourselves permission to feel that, even though that's what it is. And we have to go through this mourning phase. So that's one of the things that I've been kind of playing around with in my head a little bit more. I like to parse stuff out in my head and come up with ideas and talking points before I put it all out there. But one of the ways I do it is by talking about it, right? So experiencing loss when we leave the military and also understanding that when we come into this culture, we have to treat it as if we're moving into a whole new country, right? Because like the same way that if you go live in another country, you have to learn the customs and courtesies, the way that things are done, right? We were grown up in another culture in the military, and then we leave that, and now we have to come into this culture and like do fairly well here, right? So that's a couple of things I'll be talking about here and there.
Love it. I had, I'm not sure if it was you or somebody posted something like, hey, I sat with my anger long enough and she finally named herself grief or something like that. I forget how the meme goes. It's one of those philosophical statements. So yeah, I love what you're doing. You're nailing it on the head right there again. Man, you are a stoic, brother. You really are. Excellent.
That.
Well, excellent. Hey, before I cut you loose, I don't know if do you want to throw something at the end of the show for part of the safety brief? I'm sure you remember when you were in, we do the safety brief every Friday before you get cut loose for formation. Well, here on this show, because the show is on Monday, the safety brief has got to last until for the rest of the week. You got anything you want to add to the safety brief?
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. So Sitneil Bend? All right. So if I had to give one piece of advice for anyone out there to take a listen to on something you can apply to make sure that you have not just an awesome week, but an awesome month is that you have to do a reset at the end of your month, at the beginning of the month. What happened this last month doesn't define the rest of your month. What happened in the service doesn't define the rest of your life. So just because maybe you didn't have the best month, the best week, the best weekend, let it be known that that is staying in the past, and give yourself permission to truly come into the new week, the new month with a different perspective. Change your environment, change the way that you talk to yourself, change your behaviors. The little things that you do on a day-to-day basis are the things that end up being how you operate in a larger picture. So don't let the little things slip you by. Everything that you do matters.
And with that, I'm going to add on to Coach JP's segment on the safety brief and say it out loud. Don't just think it to yourself, verbalize it and say it to yourself out loud. I realize you feel like a chucklehead saying it to yourself in the mirror. I realize it feels cliched. Look yourself in the mirror and say it out loud. It means something to you folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Coach JP. You're going to get him again at the end of the month, at the month of January, or excuse me, the month of May. Excuse me. Wow, that was a big jump right there. Coach JP, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday night away from your family to be a part of From the Ashes on About Face Media. Really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your Monday evening, and we'll see you next month, Coach.
Same to you. My pleasure.
Well, folks, I mean, I love that segment. I love what he's doing. If you're not already following him on TikTok, on Instagram, on all those platforms, the messages he's giving you, it's not the stuff that you're used to from the veteran community. It's stuff that's going to take you by surprise. He's really going to check your ego. He's really going to check what you're used to. I love the message that he is sending to our current veteran community. He's really checking your ego, and I love what he's doing. And you really need to check and get his message. So now let's talk about Never Forgotten. For those of you that don't know, Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Ralph Puckett lies in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr., Colonel, United States Army, retired, a name and honor for now and history. Medal of Honor recipient Puckett cremated remains lay in honor Monday afternoon in the Capitol Rotunda, one of the nation's highest honors. Puckett died April 8th at the age of 97 in Columbus, Georgia. To lie in honor in state, in honor at the U.S. Capitol, is a privilege reserved for the nation's most distinguished citizens and leaders, including United States presidents and some of the country's most decorated war veterans. Only 7 citizens, Rosa Parks, Billy Graham, and 4 U.S. Capitol police officers have ever been paid the tribute. During the Korean War, Puckett drew enemy fire and exposed himself multiple times to danger to allow his fellow Army Rangers to find and destroy enemy positions during a multi-wave attack, which earned him the Medal of Honor. The courage and self-sacrifice that earned the honor will be this man's greatest eternal legacy, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said during Monday's ceremony. President Joe Biden awarded Puckett the Medal of Honor on May 21st, 2021, upgrading one of his Distinguished Service Crosses for Puckett, showing extraordinary heroism, selflessness in the Korean War more than 70 years ago, explaining that the award finally gave Puckett's act of valor the full recognition that they have always deserved. Moon Jae-in, president of the Republic of Korea, joined the celebration in the East Room, becoming the first foreign leader to attend a Medal of Honor ceremony. Colonel Puckett is a true hero in the Korean War. With the extraordinary valor and leadership, he completed missions until the very end, defending Hill 205 and fighting many more battles requiring equal valiance, Moon said. Without the sacrifice of veterans, including Colonel Puckett and the 8th Army Ranger Company, freedom and democracy we enjoy today couldn't have blossomed in Korea. Speaker Mike Johnson expressed hope that the next generation of service members and war fighters learn from Puckett's example and aspire to the same great virtues of valor, honor, and courage. These heroes were forged by fire. Ladies and gentlemen, men like that don't come around very often. They really don't. Both of my grandfathers were Korean War veterans, so this one means a little bit more to me. Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow and you put your hands together, and you say your prayers, you're sitting down at dinner with the family. Remember Colonel Ralph Puckett. Remember his family. Yeah, keep his family in your prayers. It's a big deal to lay an honor in the Capitol. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to From the Ashes on About Face Media. I can't thank you enough for taking time away from your family this evening to be a part of what we're doing. Thank you to Carrie Martin. Thank you to Coach JP. Thank you to my hetero life mate for taking time out. Please visit our sponsors. Go to Combat Flip Flops. Go to Thigh Huggers, and you're going to get 30% off. We're going to get 15% of that. Go to Core 3 Drywall in Castle Rock, Colorado. Support them, and because they support us. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. Really appreciate all of your time, and thank you for listening.